So I love Transformers, no doubt about it, and this movie, in part, helped me get into the franchise as a whole. So, without further ado, I'm going to stop wasting your time, and let's dive headfirst into the... The characters truly are the driving force for this film, and for the most part, Charlie, the human protagonist, is great, with believable goals and understandable motives. And I don't think it's controversial to say that she is one of the best human characters in the franchise. Seeming like she's going to be a whiny and edgy brat who dominates the film, she ends up being really likable and an enjoyable character. She does still dominate the film, but not like previous films where it's mainly humans with some Transformers committing war crimes in the back or something. John Cena's character is also good at being a military leader, but also feeling like a real person, and not the butt of a joke or an airheaded gun-ho America shouting meathead, but most importantly are the Transformers themselves. The title character himself is a lovable goof, but we have the radio voice, which I hate. This is probably where I like it the most, but still, I just like the concept in general. Shatter and Dropkick made great villains though, with Shatter being a cold and calculating fighter, and Dropkick being a murderous psychopath. The side characters also range from mediocre to great. We've got high school jocks, spoiled brats, Memo, and most importantly,
what the dog doing?
The story, whilst simple and slightly meandering, is still fun. We start off with the Cybertron scene, and it's amazing, concluding with Bumblebee being sent to Earth and having to ward off the military in a really fun fight. Especially when Blitzwing enters the fray, it makes it absolutely amazing. Eventually, Bumblebee ends up with Charlie, and the film meanders for a bit, but there's still some really enjoyable hijinks happening. Soon, Bumblebee is caught by the military and the Decepticons working together, and then we enter the final battle. This culminates eventually with Bumblebee and Charlie parting ways, and Bumblebee meets with Optimus Prime, who has arrived on Earth. I love some of the small details here, like the Decepticons actually deceiving people, or how Charlie finds out Bumblebee is a Transformer by looking under the car and seeing his head, like how a ton of car Transformers have their head under their vehicle mode. Neat little story with some great segments. Time for random quickfire thoughts that can't go anywhere else in the video but need somewhere to go. So there was a cutscene where Memo says Bumblebee is a GoBot, which was the main competitor for the Transformers in the 1980s, when both franchises started, eventually being bought out by Transformers, just the licensing, not the toys. I love the transforming in this film, great examples being Shatter and Dropkick, and how they almost fully transform, then their wings and rotor blades pop out, creating a sense of finality to the process. I like how the military was skeptical on helping the Decepticons, but ended up helping them due to the fear that they would just go to the Russians. It makes sense for the time period. So this film does a trope I hate, pretty classic one. It is the skill or item being introduced earlier and then eventually saving the day. This time it's Charlie being a diver, and I think it's handled pretty well here. Instead of it being something like, oh, here's the big super bomb, don't touch it, we could all die, and then you know that's how they're gonna save the day or whatever in the end. And finally, the credits feel very 2014, but I kinda like it. I love this movie. It just does so much right. Whilst having quite a bit of fat, it is mostly enjoyable fat. I'll give this an 8 out of 10. It's definitely worth a watch. Now, is it better than the '86 movie? We'll just have to wait and see.